as I was listening to the video, and it relaxed me when I heard this video. So use it. Go into Pemptousia. It will quieten your stress. I read about someone who, when things were going well, he was saying, thank God, the things went well and my self-confidence went up. Why am I saying this? Well, about 3 weeks ago, and we didn't have time to announce it, you see, we had asked to participate in the Webby Awards, the Internet Oscars. 3 weeks ago, and we made the application, practically forgot about it. 3 weeks ago, we got the prize, religion and spirituality. We came first among 13,000 sites. It's an incredible achievement, but why am I sharing this with you? Because we were really happy that for the first time the winner was an Orthodox site in this category, spirituality and reality. So the first time ever for an Orthodox site to have participated and won. So next year, all 70 or 80 sites that we heard about in this conference should ask to participate in the Webby Awards. A few things very practical. First of all, I'm not a theologian, but as I'm in charge of managing Pemptousia, administration, you see, I have the administrative task. So I'll tell you a couple of things coming from our experience. Spiritual content is not an easy task. To have a original spiritual content is even more difficult. So to keep a site going with serious, novel, original content of high aesthetics is not an easy thing at all. I'll give you an example. We are all expecting for a new book to be published. It takes 4 or 5 years for a book to be written before it is published. And we can have this book in our library, on our bookshelves for 15 years. In our case, we have to produce a spiritual content on a daily basis. We need to know what to write, and we need to have the people who will know how to do it. So this is one issue. The other issue is that of the audience, of the readers. What is the Pemptousia target group? The clergy, the Orthodox, faithful, the young people who go to church, the older ones who go to church, but the older ones who go to church are not familiar with the internet. Therefore, what is the target group of Pemptousia? When we decide what the target group is, then we have to decide in function of our public, of our readers, to produce the right texts for them. When we always wanted this triptych of religion, culture, science. But what is this triptych? We need to be able to support this triptych notion. So, and that's another difficulty. And I'll give you another example from experience. I was in my office in the morning. Nikos had created the homepage in Thessaloniki, so I was looking at the homepage in the morning. They had prepared it in the previous evening. We had the synaxari of the day, six themes with very good videos. We had a beautiful homepage that day. In the evening, he rang me and he said, go and see how many visitors, what figures do we have. I could, the site was like dead. Nothing worked. He said, go to the text, second page, where we see the figures from the text. And I went to the second page, and I saw one of the texts had 17,000 views for a spiritual text. This is huge. I said, this must be a mistake. I looked at the text. It was the synaxari of Saint Patience, of Saint Hippomone. And then this was never seen before. A synaxari was read by 18,000 people. And what synaxari of Saint Patience, of Saint Hippomone? This is extremely important. 18,000 people went to read the synaxari and they ignored the beautiful videos, but they read the synaxari of Saint Patience. That was unexpected. We think that we think that the people read us for some reasons, don't read us for other reasons, and so on. Numbers of visitors. Today I have uploaded a text on Saint Paisius in my blog. 15,000 people read it. So we are very interested in high numbers of visitors. Of course, we are in touch with Mount Athos. We receive a lot of help from the monastery. It is relatively easy for us to acquire material like this. Somebody asked me one day how many visitors. I said, I don't know, 20,000. So he suggested to me to go to Mount Athos to see the assets that eat grasshoppers and nothing else, and they have their arms and hands chained. And he said to me, if you do this, you will get 200,000 visitors instead of 20,000. Of course, we never did that, and we never would. But this is really hunting visitors, hunting after numbers. We don't want to do that. Of course, we are interested in being visited by many readers, but it is true that there are texts that will not bring you readers. It's not going to be the very successful site that very day. But it is true that if people visit things that they have never seen before, that will probably relax them, that will appease their souls. Anyway, what are the factors for the success of a site? Another factor is the factor of cost. Nobody mentioned it so far. In order to be serious, in order to write seriously, because these are spiritual texts addressed to souls. You cannot play around with this. Imagine on the internet how many people in the editor's team say at some point during a meeting, God, look what is happening in Syria right now. Let's write something about it. Okay, the person who will write something about Syria in the space of 4 or 5 hours has to be very serious, because it's not just journalistic writing. You don't just give an idea of what goes on somewhere, but you have to go into the deep reasons of why something is happening. And this entails a cost. The people on the team need to be experienced people. And I have spoken with more than 200 people before, to organize this conference. And most of them have worked for nothing. I know there are people in here who spend sleepless nights in order to maintain web pages, and they do it out of love. They don't receive even 1 cent. So this is a very, very serious affair. And I shall conclude with the following. Geron, he's not here now. He always tells me to cut down on food. He has told me 100 times to stop eating. So in the end I felt conscience stricken, and I decided to go into the internet to look for food to lose weight. Temperance. I googled temperance in food. If you do it, if you search it, you will find very funny things. You will fall down laughing, in fact. Where is the problem? If you put a word on spiritual issues on Google, it will produce everything and anything you can imagine. The site of Agia Zoni, Saint Zoni, the Holy Zoni, they have a site, and there is a catalogue of all the texts. Saint Porphyry, Geron, and so on, Kavsokalivia, Papoulis. If you write these words, the search engine will find Agia Zoni. In Agia Zoni, they have the text. They write charity. They find words that are related to the text but do not appear in the text. Only a real priest, a real shepherd could do that. Read the text and take its very essence in a few words. So I was thinking that we could work like this. In fact, I have got elements from the Agia Zoni model. Imagine a model. Google search for pastoral care. If you write generosity of the mind, macrothymia. If the blogger of Father George have the same word, macrothymia, then we can search, and when I look up temperance in food, I will receive something correct and controlled. I will get the texts from serious sources which catalog the text in the right way. So, food and temperance, I will get serious stuff. I will not get anecdotes and jokes on the internet. In other words, I will benefit from a consolidated world search in Orthodox pastoral care. So, the model of Agia Zoni. In Pemptousia we have 22,000 texts to date. When they are catalogued properly and we're looking up temperance, we can, it will flag up the text by Pemptousia, by Agia Zoni, by Bogoslav and so on and so forth. I think that we must unite our forces.